Hello and welcome to day 3 training of IDL 3.0. Today we are going to be discussing some of the motions that I have chosen for you. The first motion today is students should have homework in primary school. Now, this basically means that proposition is going to say that yes, children should have homework in primary school, and opposition is going to say that no, children should not have homework in primary school. So to start with, we're going to start points for proposition. You have 1 minute to start telling me as to why students should have homework. In the chat box, let's say in 1 minute, what's the best point that we get?
तू बता क्या लिखूं, मैं लिखती हूँ, टाइप मैं करती हूँ.
Please be on mute.
So Riyanshi, Dhruv, yes, you're muted.
When is our speech?
Huh?
When is our speech?
No, so you're not supposed to give a speech. You're just supposed to put your point in the chat box.
ध्रुव, आपके स्पीच के पॉइंट्स आप चैट बॉक्स पे डाल सकते हो. दिस इज जस्ट अ प्रैक्टिस सेशन, ओके?
So all those putting in points for against, I'm not going to consider those points. We are still discussing only about proposition. It's not going to be your opinion. It's going to be something I'm giving you. So you're supposed to give me points for why students should have homework given from school. So I just don't want one line. I want you to give me reasons as well. So I'll pick and choose now, so that you can tell me as to why and how they can practice at home. Riyanshi, you say that students should be given a homework because they can practice at home. Can you explain that point to me?
Ma'am, they can practice, then they can recap what they have learned in the school.
Yes, so you would basically explain it by saying that all of the concepts that you learn in school, your teachers probably give 2 or 3 questions or similar questions from that, and therefore it's a good way for you to practice the same sums and concepts at home, and you will be able to learn better. This is good for students. Good job. So this is how you explain it. All right. Moving on. So somebody says that it's going to increase their computational thinking. Ravi, can you explain that?
Ma'am, when we do our homework, there is a lot of work to do, which is we need to think that how. Imagine if we are in a situation to figure out something, we need to think like a computer. We need to think all the answers, and if it makes the computational thinking more efficient.
Okay, so you were saying that there are so many different things where you'll have to think and apply something that you already learned in school. So it forces people to think and use their cognitive skills. That's a very good point. Good job. Next is Ekansh. Can you explain how it's easier for you to learn by yourself and not by somebody else?
Ma'am, because the teachers teach us on their own way, which makes us not understand easily. Like some children children who don't understand by others because of revisions having every day.
Okay, that's a good point. So you're going to also add on to that by saying that when students are learning by themselves, and then there is something that when a responsibility has been given to them of learning something, they're going to put extra efforts, which basically means that students are more likely to become more hardworking. So good job. Somebody says it helps developing responsibility in children. Pratham, can you explain that?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I can explain that by saying ma'am, because doing homework develops a sense of responsibility and punctuality in a child, because they have to think about doing their homework and they can't forget it, or they are gonna face consequences of not doing their homework. And ma'am, it is and ma'am, another good point for that is because we can give the answers of questions by ourselves because of doing homework, because we get to think by ourselves, we get to think in an independent way, instead of in a class where we have to think about the whole class, and we get turn to speak instead of using your own brain individually and doing your thing and answering in your way. Thank you, ma'am.
That's a good point. I think when you talked about punctuality, you can also mention that oftentimes when homework is given to you, there's a set deadline, which means that if my teacher tells me that you're supposed to submit this by Saturday, it brings in like kinds of responsibility in terms of this is the time when I'm supposed to submit it, and this is why I'm supposed to do it by this particular time. So I think that's also a very good point. I'm gonna see. Somebody says in the chat box, Arohi, it says increases knowledge. Arohi, how would you explain that it increases knowledge?
Yes, ma'am, I can explain. Ma'am, whenever we do homework, it can increase our knowledge because whenever the things which we learn in our schools, which the teachers tells us, we can revise it. The homework helps us to revise it and it gains our knowledge too.
Yeah, and sometimes you're given extra assignment, which is basically a new thing for you to learn as well. So you'll basically go back, research, talk to your parents. Your parents will help you, which will also increase your parent-children relationship, which means that like a lot of times you have conversation with your parents and you learn from parents much better than your teachers as well sometimes. So I think that could also be one of the points. Shivika, can you explain your point as well?
Sure. So, in homework for primary school children could be a new thing which lets them explore the whole world of knowledge for the future. It improves our punctuality, as in homework we need to think about what we should write for it to be understandable for the teachers and our fellow classmates.
Yes.
And if they do it for a period of time, they will start having fun in it, which will not let them to have stress in doing too much work in the future.
Okay, I think you can add on a lot more to the argument where you're talking about you're preparing for future, because even if let's say you're in primary school, you're preparing for secondary school, which is much harder than your primary school. And if you don't have a habit of doing homework, you would never be able to come back to school and do homework. There'll be a benefit of doing stuff for you.
Ma'am,
that's a
may
good
I
point.
ask a question?
Who do you want to ask a question to?
Ma'am, like, can we do one thing? Can you take 2 students for prop and op on the
I listen,
news?
Ravi. I'll function the way it is happening right now, and thank you for the suggestion. All right. Next is Vidisha. Can you explain your point?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, children should have their homework in primary wing because it improves their knowledge, give them responsibility and confidence, and it helps them at future to get many nice jobs and many more.
Okay. I'm seeing if there is any new point added. Daksh, that's a good point. Can you explain that?
Ma'am, it helps a student to revise what we have done in the class and they can score more marks.
So can you explain the point where it talks about more marks?
Ma'am, if we score more marks in exam, our parents
So the reason why you'll be able to score more marks is because of your retention of a lot of subjects. In exams, you are supposed to remember a lot of things. So if you'll only study one day before the exam, you won't be able to retain a lot of that knowledge, which is why when you continuously keep revising every day, it helps you retain that knowledge because you understand those concepts. So that's the explanation. Somebody says, Kalpana, it improves self-study skills. Can you explain that, Kalpana? Okay, I'll move to the next person then.
Ma'am,
Yes, Ira.
like the teacher, when she checks the work,
Mhm.
when she checks it, and a student gets all correct, it can also, like, when the student feels nice about it, it can improve their mental health.
That's true as well. So I think the feedback argument is also very nice because you get to learn. So let's say if there are something that you're not understanding, you can always ask your teachers again, go back again, and then ask her, as opposed to, let's say, one day before your exam, you're just sitting and you're not understanding anything and you can't even ask your teacher. So that's a good opportunity for you to improve as well. Good job. Yes, Arshia, what's your argument? You're not audible. Mhm. Can't hear you. Can you rejoin again, Arshia, and I'll come back to you. And then Arna, what's your argument?
Ma'am, I don't have an argument. I have a doubt.
Okay, ask.
Ma'am, when are we allowed to be in favor of the opposition?
I'll tell you. So I'll just finish proposition. I'm just saying all of the points that are there, and then once this is done, I'll come back to opposition. Sarthak?
When a teacher gives homework and she checks it, and she can understand if a child doesn't do homework, she can understand that this child hasn't understood really well. And
Correct.
and while the child who has completed the homework and got all the questions correct has understood the homework.
That's a very good point. Yes. Pavika? So Pavika says that, yeah.
It makes them independent and gives them confidence, because when we are in the school and in the class, we have guidance. But at home, if we do homework by our own, we don't have any guidance, so it makes us independent. That's why children should have homework in primary school.
Wonderful. That's a very good point. Ravi says that it's going to help you focus a lot more. Ravi, can you explain that point?
Ma'am, when we do homework, when we think, it improves our focus as if focusing on a point to think about it and answer it.
Hmm.
And
So, yeah. Do you have something to add?
can I add?
Yeah, sure.
And when you think about a particular thing with a very good focus, you can get the answer quickly, which also improves our intelligence.
That's fair. That's a very good point. Okay. Mayan, what's your point?
Ma'am, what is going on? I joined late.
Yeah, so we're doing proposition right now. So we are discussing all the points that we can run on proposition. So I think, Shaila, what's your point?
Ma'am, for young children like us, homework helps practice on a routinely basis and encourages them to meet deadline, with which helps later. Also, it shows the teacher how much a student has understood, and helps the students with an ability if they're good at the subject.
All right, perfect. Okay, I saw Ikansh, your point is pretty good. I read it. Then, okay, I think this is pretty much it in terms of proposition, because I see that all of the points are now repeating. So I think we learned in terms of the gist and summary of all the arguments, we learned a couple of things. One, that it increases the ability to improve. Second, you do so much more hard work. Third, you put in efforts and therefore your focus increases. Fourth, we talked about things like how you can take feedback from teachers. Fifth, we talked about how it's going to help you build yourself for the future, and a lot more. So this is what proposition
Excuse me, ma'am.
had Nobody speaks without turn, please. So that's what we learned for side proposition. Arshi, I think you can speak now. No, you can't. I can't hear you. Okay, I'll take one last point from somebody who's not spoken yet. I think Meher was trying to speak. Meher, do you still want to speak? Yes, Meher.
So, homework supports learning and helps students retain and understand materials better. Like, if say you have a sheet on, say, how the earth was made. So, when teachers explain it, some people might not understand. But when you get it yourself, you can find your own methods and figure out a way to learn it yourself. And that's why
Okay.
homework can really benefit for you.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. I think we can keep our hands down now. We're now going to move to opposition. So I think propositions arguments are well done. So I just want to reiterate this once before we move forward to opposition. The first thing that you need to remember is that there's a claim, then there's reasoning, and then example. So I think we did enough in terms of explanation. This time I want you to give me examples with your claim. So tell me how would you give an example to the why of your argument. So on opposition, we're saying that children should not have homework in primary school. Put it in the chat box, and I'm going to ask you to give me examples in the chat box. So in chat box, unless you have a doubt. Yeah, Ravi, what's your doubt?
So, ma'am, when we give claim, reasoning, and example, if it's effective, it's good. But if the opposition says something about the example that has happened to him, it's an advantage for him or not?
So a personal example is not a good example. You should probably give examples which are, general examples like from society, from school, etc. But yeah, don't give personal examples. For example, I like ice cream, that's why ice cream is good. It's not a good example. But it's always good to use more reasoning, less examples. I mean, it's fine, you should use examples, but don't rely too much on examples. Yes, Ira?
Ma'am, does only the opposition have to write?
Yeah, only opposition. Okay, Kanupriya says that they won't be able to do other activities, and the example that she gives is about Ria. So that's exactly what I was telling Ravi as well. So you're not supposed to use examples of your friends, like a particular name, etc. You're supposed to use example of, let's say, statistics or like majority of people, what people in general believe about a particular thing, rather than using example of your friends and family.
Excuse me, ma'am, should I tell why they should not have homework?
Yeah.
Ma'am, they should not have homework because they're very small. They won't know how to do the
Not
homework.
here in the chat box.
Ma'am, you wanted me to unmute?
No. In the chat box, please. So so you know what? So I think when you say and I'm going to just generally talk about the argument that I've put in the chat box. So a lot of y'all say that people or small kids don't get a lot of time to play once they are given the time to do homework. Can anyone give example for this? Just raise your hand. Yeah, Shivika, tell me.
Children, especially small children, may have earlier sleeping time and curfews. So which could lead them to, if they get too much homework or even just normal homework, they will have to put their whole mind, divert themselves into that homework to complete it, which can regulate our playing time very less.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. Ekansh, what's your point?
Ma'am, that is like how much you grow bigger and no, like elder or elder, you'll get
Okay, you're
harder
breaking.
homeworks day by day. Like
Hmm.
in 11th or 9th, you can just get tired of it or just sick of it being so hard. And small children don't get their enough time to play. Like usually children go at 6 or 5, but because of homeworks, they always have to like cut their playing time and focus on homeworks.
Yeah, and you can also use examples of like how most of the parents don't let their kids play unless they finish their homework. So a lot of their playing time anyways is going to be cut if they're not going to be able to finish it on time. And then you can relate to the idea of curfews of the children, so you can't go out and play at 8 to begin with. Ayan, can you give me example of your argument?
And that can also spoil their mental health.
Correct, yes, that's the impact of the
Ma'am,
argument.
can I explain my point?
No, I'm gonna give you the chance, Ravi. There are other people who have not gotten the chance. Ayan. Okay, by the time Ayan. Okay, Ayan, are you there?
Ma'am, we have to do our homework because they just like see that our mental step is 2 step, and when will you do homework? You will do homework 2 months. The 2 steps will be equals to 4 steps. So like this, you always do homework, so it can also improve your mental thing, and you have to do homework. This is my and I say that done homework.
All right, Shifty, what's your point?
I would say that like bedtime, it can.
Okay, you're breaking.
Oh wait, ma'am. Yes. Now, if a child doesn't have a curfew to go to sleep, it can encourage a child to, rather than sleeping, finishing their homework, and that can lead to sleep loss, which will be really bad for young children.
All right, perfect. Can we go to Avneet now? Avneet, what's your point?
Ma'am, the parents think that the playing time is a waste time, and they have to give the time on the homeworks, so the children don't get the time to play.
Okay, so children won't get time to play. Can anyone tell me why not playing is a bad thing?
Ma'am,
Why not playing is a bad thing?
Ma'am, I can.
I want to.
Keep
Ma'am,
your,
I can.
keep yourself muted.
Ma'am, please can I speak?
Keep
Ma'am,
yourself
can I?
muted. If you're gonna unmute, I'm not gonna let you speak. Do you realize this? Okay. Vidisha, I said if somebody is going to unmute, I'm not going to let you speak. Okay. Vivan, what's the why do you think it's necessary?
It's because the teacher convinced to finish the child's work in few hours, because the school is only for a current time, and in homework there is a much time, and parents doesn't convince them because they that's why they don't have homework.
Okay. I think a lot of good points are in chat box about how physical health is very important, Avian. That's a very good point. Also like how people can get lazy. Daksh, that's a very good point. Prashika, what's your point?
My point is that when the mentality of some children, not everyone, some children, when they do homework, so if they wrong any 1-2 question, so they think that I don't know this thing, and when there's a time of exam, they got nervous, and when they write exam, because of nervousness, they wrong their questions.
Okay, fair. Kashvi, what's your point?
Ma'am, my point is No students shouldn't get homework because they tend to cheat if they don't know sometimes, and sometimes we all have long days and our playing time is being cut, but it is said physically exercise.
That's a very good point. So it's actually like taking down the point of proposition where they're talking about you can revise and you can learn, because oftentimes like students are just cheating from somewhere else, so they're not understanding it. Very good. Yes, Aniket, what's your point?
Ma'am, I want to say that, ma'am, in the primary school, the children should get homework, but they should get less because there are some children which are very curious and they want to know about more things. So that is why when they have less homework, they can also find new things. Some of them
But
like
this
to
is but
read.
this is not opposition's point, Aniket. So I think this is a very good clarification to make here. So whenever it's said that you should be given homework or you should not be given homework, you can't take a middle stance of saying that we should be given less homework per se. So you're supposed to take like full stance. So probably that stance could be used in proposition, but you'll have to still explain as to why it's likely that teachers are going to give you less homework. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Vasavi, what's your point?
Ma'am, the parents also get to know how much progress the child is.
Yeah, correct. Vasavi?
Ma'am, my name is not Vasvi, it is Wasabi.
Okay, Wasabi.
Ma'am, my point is that that the student should not have homework in primary school because it causes pressure on the child's brain and does not let the student think on the classwork or particularly one thing. They focus on one thing instead of the other, and if they will think on both the sides, their mind will not be constant on anything.
Okay. Okay. Shaila, what's your point?
Ma'am, students should not be given homework because they tend to cheat, and if they don't know something, sometimes we all have long days and it makes us really tired, and the burden of homework just makes it worse. And for younger kids, it cuts out physical playing time, which is very good for physical and mental health. And for younger kids, they are learners, and if they see, they they grow up and they learn to cheat, which is not the best thing. It doesn't help them in any way.
Wonderful. Okay. Vivan, what's your point?
Ma'am, it is bad as when we are doing homework, it causes stress on our mind, and it causes a headache or any kind of mental illness, and they don't even get time to play, and it is very important for both our physical and our mental health.
Yeah.
And if they don't know anything, they will ask anybody near them to cheat. So when they grow up, they will like cheat the entire time, and that will cause them to get bad marks. So that's why we should not get homework.
Okay, that's a very good point. Can we go to Riyanshi now? Riyanshi's done, right? Okay.
Ma'am, please can I?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, the primary children do not get homework because they get like very burden on them, and first the parents decide, but then they think they will come there and they will get tired, so they will sleep early and can't do their homework properly.
Ma'am, can I?
Ma'am, can I?
Ravi, a lot of okay, all those people have already spoken. Please keep your hands down. I want to give chance to people who haven't spoken yet.
Ma'am, I haven't done. Can I?
Amulya?
I can.
I'm choosing Amulya. What's your point?
Ma'am, one who is constantly involved in sports has a good mental and physical health, but primary children are given homework and they do not get time to play.
Okay, Demira.
Ma'am, me.
Can put your hands up if you want to speak, Demira.
Especially the younger children, they don't get time to play because the teachers in schools, they give a lot of homework to them, so that is why they don't get time to play, and
Yeah, go on, continue.
and their physical exercise isn't playing. So if they don't play, they will become lazy and they will become weak.
Correct. Yes. Next up is Mohsin Ahmed.
Ma'am, as an average student struggles for writing the homework, ma'am, in that they also loses their energy. And also when learning, they struggle as their
Okay, keep yourself muted, everyone else. Yeah, continue.
Ma'am, as an average student in a primary school struggles to write a homework, ma'am, as they lose their energy also, ma'am. When learning their homework, they struggle because of their mental illness, ma'am.
Okay, I want new points. So anyone who has new points, keep your hand up. Otherwise, keep it down. Sarthak, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, homework gives children pressure on the brain, and if the children has pressure, he can't do homework. That makes them afraid of going to school. That they will get the punishment from a teacher, and if they don't go to the school, they will get dumb. Dumb, and they won't learn anything. So so that's why children should not give homework.
Okay, Sai Priyanshi.
Good evening, ma'am. In my point of view, by giving too much of homework, it can increase their stress level. This in turn provides an opposite effect when it comes to academic success. Small kids spend a lot of time in school, so they want to spend some of the time in playing and entertainment. It can also affect their mental health and health or conditions. They cannot get time for extracurricular activities.
All right, perfect. Karthike?
Yes, ma'am. Students with too much homework have elevated stress levels. Higher achieving students, those who may have more homework, are at particular risk for stress-related health issues like sleep.
Okay, wonderful. Samaksh?
क्या भेज रही हो?
Ma'am, primary students who are in primary, they are too small in age, so that's why they don't get homework.
Yeah, but you're supposed to say why they should not be given homework. So you're saying that they're very small. That's fine.
Because they don't have time, because they have periods, and some periods they watch some cartoons, so that's why they don't give homework.
Okay, Pratham, what's your point?
Ma'am, my point is that homework should not be given to primary school students, because not only it negatively impacts their both mental and physical side in a way which is very bad for them. And how it affects is pretty simple. In the mental side, it takes away their time to actually self-study and focus on things that they're weak in, and decreases their critical thinking. And in the physical side, it decreases their playtime, which also makes them very lazy and slows down their growth. And mm, and creative students who want to participate in different things don't get a chance to participate in different things, because they're forced to do the homework, which takes away their time to do their liked or liked thing, or their passion, or their hobby. And this is one of the main reasons that why we can't see many creative students nowadays in India. And even if we see them, they are forced to do things like homework, which take away their time for their actual talent. And that is And that is the reason why homework should not be given to primary school students. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you. That was a
None
very
of
good
us speak.
Reyansh, the thing that you've put in the chat box is also very nice. Also everybody who is unmuting, please do not do so. I'm moving to next point, and next point, the arguments are going to be only put by people who haven't spoken yet, and not by people who have already spoken. So the next thing that I want to do right now is I'm going to tell you arguments on proposition for this motion. So argument for proposition in this motion is obviously improves learning, increases time management, practice clear concepts, prepares them for future, teachers can help in areas of improvement, and then parents can keep a track and on the progress of the teacher of the child. On opposition, you can say it gives stress to small people. You can talk about how they're too young to get heavy homework. You can also talk about how it's a lack of free time for them, which means that they could have done, they could have used this time for extracurriculars, family time, play time, etc. And then you can talk about how when you don't have so much time, you cannot explore in your interests. For example, some people probably like space science, some people probably like football. You can't spend time in that, and you cannot explain, and you cannot make it a better skill or improve on your skill. Then you can lead it can lead to you it can lead to academic burnout, which means that because you're doing so much in academics, you're going to be bored by academics, but also you're not going to be having any interest because you're forced to do extra homework. But lastly, it is difficult because so it could lead to students doing malpractices such as siblings and ChatGPT basically doing their homeworks, which is not a good thing. Now moving to the next topic, which is it is better to learn from books or from internet. So proposition is going to say that it's better to learn from books. Now I want new students to give me points. For new students to give me points, you're supposed to keep yourself put your hands up, and then I'm gonna choose the people who have not spoken yet. So why books are better to learn from than internet? All of those who have kept their hands up, I'm guessing it's for this motion. If it is not for this motion, keep it down.
Yes, ma'am.
In chat box, please.
Excuse me, ma'am.
In chat box, please. Okay, so why is it better to learn from in chat box? Okay, I will now start for this particular motion why books are better than internet. We'll start from people who have not spoken yet. Rian Singhal, what's your point?
मत बोलो मैम we have to study from books because in internet if we will type something it will get more harder for us because it will come off work of bigger classes, so we will get confused. So we should study from books, not from internet.
Okay, very good. Athar, what's your point?
Ma'am, so my point is, it is better to learn from book because books are packed with knowledge. They give you lessons and teach you, ma'am, and teach you about new things. Ma'am, new things. It improves your concentration and memory, vocabulary expansion, and strengthen your writing ability. Excuse me, ma'am. Ability.
Okay.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
You unmute yourself and I won't give you a chance. No unmuting, keep your hand up. If you think that you're if you think your chance hasn't come, you can DM me on chat box so that I have an idea and I can give you the opportunity.
I don't know what is the question.
The topic is books are better than internet.
ये ना मेरा ये देख लो ना एक बार ये कैसा हो गया Zoom meeting का.
Okay. Anushri, what's your point? Okay, Arnav, go on.
Ma'am, in my opinion, it is better to learn from books instead of the internet. Although the internet has a lot of information, books are better as not only is it cheaper, but it is also age appropriate. And as well, it does not ruin our eyesight. It does not give us radiation. All we have to do is just take out a book and then just look at what is written in there and then just read it. While on the internet, you have to buy a computer, then you have to open Google or any type of browser. Then you have to search what you want to do, what you want to learn about, and then most of the time it will not give you the main result other than some websites.
All right. That's a very cohesive point. Anushri, you can continue now.
Yes, ma'am. Books are better than internet because from book we get more knowledge. The internet, on internet it can come very types of weird things in instead of study, and in books there are too many topics in which we can prepare, and in book there is all the things would not affect to our eyes, but on internet if we study then the phones and television will affect to our eyes.
Okay. Waziha, what's your point?
Yes, ma'am. Reading from books is just the best way to learn. The direction alone from the internet not let you contract when reading to learn from internet, but if you can discipline yourself, you can get a great deal of information learning the internet.
Okay. Satvik?
Ma'am, can I speak, please?
In the chat
Ma'am,
box.
my point is words have magic. They literally tell us about everything that we can think about. They also make us imagine about what we read and makes our studies better also.
All right. That's a good point. Riyansh? Yes, Riyansh के बाद आप जाना भाविका.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Ma'am, books are our friends, and books improves our reading skills, and they are more reliable sources than compared to internet, and they can be carried from one place to another.
Okay. Bhavika?
Books are, if we learn from books, then books are specific and internet is cluttered. And if we buy one book, it says forever with you. But if we take a mobile or a laptop or anything which gives us internet, network will not work one day and we will not able to study.
That's a good point. Yes. Yashovardhan?
Ma'am, books are better than internet as firstly book does not damage the eyes. We need a device from which we will learn and which cost around 10,000 rupees, and we also need an internet devices such as from which we will get internet, which also costs 1,000 rupees. So total we have we have to give and spend about 16,000 rupees, which cost about 10 times more than a book.
Okay, that's wonderful. Raisabir.
Ma'am, books are better than internet because one time the battery of the computer laptop will be finished. Then we can't study. So it takes time to fill the battery of it. So that's why books are better than it, and books always stay with us. But if our mobile phones are broken, so we can't study.
Yeah,
Ma'am,
that's
it's a
correct. Avyuk?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, because when we read from books, it gives us the right information. But when we search from internet, it can give us information that is not age appropriate for us.
Okay. Vivan?
It also increases our reading skills and it also
Correct.
increases our reading skills
Yes. Vivan?
and vocabulary. What can I do?
Okay, Ayansh?
I think that if we use internet for our learning, we will definitely use laptop or
Okay. Ahna?
Ma'am, less quality and good things, and one has good quality and less information and damages our eyes is not good for us.
Correct. That's very good point. Dhairya?
So basically, what I think, like most of the time, people sometimes tend to write the wrong information on the internet. So like I got a school project where I had to write a biography. So I took a person, but then I searched on many different websites, but most of the websites they had different birth dates and other information. But I think books are written by real people, and I think that they like 99% they always carry the right information.
That's also a very good point. You also use example. Good job.
Ma'am, can I also take 1 point?
Can you keep yourself muted? All those who have spoken, can you keep your hand down, please? Namya, what's your point?
Excuse me, ma'am, could you?
Namya?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah.
from the books, we can improve our reading skills, and it gives us amazing facts about the chapters that we can read in the books.
Excuse me, ma'am, could you hear me now?
Yes, Harshia, can hear you. You can go next.
Okay. Can I speak?
Samrat, keep yourself muted. Yeah, go on.
So, reading books is better than technology, as first of all, it doesn't affect your eyesight as much as reading books does. Even though reading too many books can hurt your eyes, but technology also has like more of bad sides to it when it comes to affecting your eyesight, etc. And also, it's also very cost effective and also is available easily and gives you the right information. Like even Google, or if you go to Google, it also gives you right information, but it ends up giving a lot of documentaries and it just leads you in some other way. But if you look at books, it has one topic and it doesn't move aside from it.
Yes, that's fair. Kishander, what's your point?
Ma'am, from my side, books are more important as it improves our reading skills and gives many amazing facts and also makes us understand very easily.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Can Krishikesh speak now? Krishikesh, what's your point? Krishikesh, are you there? Okay. I'm now going to move forward to the opposition. Can anyone tell me why
Mom, I have point for the proposition.
is it different?
Yes.
Okay, tell me.
On when you have to click on the link can be like about something else only. For example, you click on two links. One link can have a different information, and the other link can have a different information. So, one day that happened to me also. I was researching about democracy. It said that mostly prime ministers in other countries, something like that, they were banned or something. And then in the other link, it said that when I googled that are prime ministers banned in other countries in the olden days, it said no. But whereas in books there is specific knowledge about things which cannot change.
And also, ma'am, I would like to add one point.
Excuse me,
Is it you?
Mom, may I speak?
Okay, Galaxy, you're supposed to first rename yourself and then come back.
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am,
Okay.
please, can I speak? I have a new point.
Okay, now you know what I'm doing. I'm gonna go to opposition. So tell me for opposition why internet is better. So all of those have already spoken. Keep your hands down. I want new faces, new people to speak. I think Ananya Arora has not spoken yet. Ananya, tell me why internet is better. Okay. Yeah, Shivika, go on.
Books are better as the internet does not tell us most of our
No, we've switched to internet now.
Okay, ma'am. The internet is a place where we can get more information than books, as books only have limited information, while the internet can give us infinite types of information in just a matter of milliseconds.
I loved how you switched very quickly. Good job. Ayan,
Yeah, ma'am.
do you have point for opposition? All those who have point for opposition, keep your hands up. Otherwise, just keep it down. Yeah, go on, Ayan.
Ma'am, books are not better than internet because internet gives the answer faster than the books. But if you want to get the answer of the question, what is the full form of CNG, you have to search whole book. But in the internet, when you will search just and it will came to you just. So I think that internet is good. Thank you.
All right.
Ma'am, may I please speak?
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, can I please? Ma'am, can I speak? Ma'am, can I speak? Can I please?
Ma'am, may I please speak?
Ma'am,
Keep your hand
please.
muted. All those who have unmuted right now, I won't give you the chance to speak. Ananya Arora, you can go.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so ma'am, the internet gives you a more variety of answers to the questions we search. And if you have to search the answers in the book right nicely, while in internet you can directly get the answer. And if you want to go somewhere, you have to carry so many books, while you can just carry your phone and the answers will come quickly.
Yes, that's wonderful. Okay.
Mummy.
Ma'am, may I please speak? I have to go.
Vivan.
Ma'am, internet is better to help with your homework as any website like ChatGPT. You can just search your homework essay and it allows you to see the entire essay without even searching the entire book for the entire information one by one. It just shows you the entire information in one time.
Okay. Kanupriya, what's your point?
Can I do?
Kanupriya? Yeah, whoever wants to go to washroom, please go. Kanupriya?
Mummy.
Kanupriya?
Ma'am.
Okay, Ira, keep your give chance to everyone and then I'll come back to you. Saisha, what's your point? If not Saisha, then Vidisha?
Thank you, ma'am, for giving me chance. I want to say that as internet is better
Ma'am, actually, I was
because
not
some
able
are
to.
not all present in our books. So internet help us, and we cannot take many books to many places as it
Ma'am, internet
so
also
easy to
Sponge also help us.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, I was not able to unmute.
If you have a doubt in
Yeah, can you please
Excuse me,
all
ma'am.
speak one at a time? I can see many of you speaking over each other.
Okay,
Excuse me,
everybody
ma'am.
keep yourself muted, please.
Ma'am,
I
I was
will
not
give
able to
Taisha, I
unmute.
will give you the chance, please. Okay. First Saisha and then Kanupriya, okay? Saisha, go on.
Heard me.
I said mute yourself unless I give you the chance, don't speak.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, access to information to almost every topic is imaginable. Quick, speedy, and ma'am, it's fast. Ma'am, on the other side, ma'am, using books or other printing tests can waste your time as you need to find the appropriate book and then search for the information you need from it.
All right. Then Kanupriya.
Ma'am, and I support it. Okay. And internet is better because there are some information which are not present in the books, like about some lakes, like what is Dal Lake, what is Black Lake, etc., which are not present in the books, but can be found on the internet.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Before I go forward, I see some of y'all actually chatting on the chat box. If I see anyone chatting on the chat box, I'm going to remove you from the meeting. Stop talking to each other. If you want to put in points, then go ahead, but don't
Ma'am,
chat.
they all are using foul language.
Yeah,
Ma'am,
what
can
is
I
it?
share a point?
Don't do that. I'm literally going to remove you if you do so. And when I remove you once, you can't join back again, which means that you won't be able to participate. So stop doing that. Yes, Ravi, what's your point?
My point is actually internet is better because if we search on internet we quickly get the results, but if we do it on a book we need to find that result and it's a little complicated to make it a simple answer.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am, can I speak now?
Yeah, Priya.
Ma'am, can I share my point?
Wait, Priya is speaking this second. Priya? Can't hear you.
Praveen, have you been trying to ask a doubt?
Ma'am, my point.
Okay, yeah, Riyansh, go on.
In the internet, you can find a topic in almost every language. But in the book, a specific book is about only one language. So people who know different language, they can search on the internet and they will come to know the results in every language that is.
Okay. Arshia, what's your point?
So my point is that reading books requires like a very much of focus first of all, but the internet is like full of short form content that can help you understand stuff better. Plus, if you want to print anything, you need to use like the internet information, and also in books, if you see, there'll be a book about one topic only, not about multiple topics. So in internet, what you can do, if you have done searching on one topic, you can like just search on the other. But in books, you have to go from one topic to another book, and then you have to find another book for the other. Plus, if you want to work on words, like if you're finding the dictionary, you need a particular dictionary to find that word. Like if I want to find the word supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, it won't find it on the mini dictionaries, but you would easily find it on the internet.
All right, wonderful. Can we go to Ira now? Ira?
Ma'am, I reached it by mistake.
Okay.
Can
Okay,
I share
Samaksh, go on. Samaksh and then Amulya.
Ma'am, internet, ma'am, ma'am, in books, there are, ma'am, in books, there are, there are not only, there are not multiple topics, and but in internet, we have many topics, and and the and the apps such as Google, Kindle, Microsoft, etc. helps us to know about the topic we are talking.
Okay. Amulya?
Ma'am, books are not interactive, but internet is.
Okay. You'll have to explain more why books are not interactive and why internet is interactive.
Ma'am, books are not interactive because internet has so many pictures and it has many websites which contain different information, but books are mostly focused on only one thing.
Okay. Krishikesh, are you there? Okay. Pratham?
Ma'am, can I speak?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so my point is, ma'am, internet is better than books because there are, ma'am, because any type of new discovery or information or just information is generally first published on the internet before a book, as a book takes much more time to publish than just to write a simple article on the internet. And the internet articles are much more interactive as there are many photos and
Ma'am, can I
things
speak?
given on that article, which makes that specific topic very appealing to the reader. And also, just for an example, if there is a book on the topic, for example, let's say tiger, and that book is 100 pages long, then it will take you a very long time to find some specific detail about that you read, and you have to use it in some situation of your life. But opposed to the internet, you always carry a phone, or if you are with your parents, your parents have a phone, so you can just search about that thing that you have read in some book, and instead of searching for the past 30 minutes, you can just spend 5 seconds just typing and reading a simple answer on the internet. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Prableen?
Ma'am, internet is easy because it gives us more information about the book, whereas book gives us only some information.
Okay, Athar?
Ma'am, I think internet is better than books because we can find the thing we need to learn from the internet fast and quickly. While in the book we have to search for the topics. Ma'am, at internet we just have to type and we'll get the result.
Okay, yes. Yashovardhan? And then Aniket.
Ma'am, internet is better than book as firstly, sometimes the books are printed in some books are printed in black and white and are not so much interactive. But in internet, there are some videos and animation with photos and more videos and GIFs, which gives us more better, which gives us more better learning and help us to learn the concept more. And also, the books also waste more pages. But if we learn from internet, it will waste less pages, and we will cut less trees.
That's good point. Aniket?
Ma'am, internet is like a library for us because when we read a book, we need to find a particular meaning. But in internet, we can just type that word and we can find the meaning. Just like if we want to read the biography of a person, so it will take us some time. But in internet, we can get important points just in a jiffy.
Okay, Drishit and then Rian. Drishit?
Yes, ma'am. So I was telling that if you have doubts that are really short and have real short answers, then you will not read a book that's too long. Means in a big book there are many paragraphs, pages. So you want one particular information, and for that on the internet, if you search the question, they'll give you short answers, not like the books that they give a whole book for a particular topic.
All right, Rian.
One book always steers from anywhere, and that makes us very irritating. And internet has infinite information about the things we want to know. And in book there are many things like we don't want to know, but there are.
Yeah.
But in internet we can see anything and we can study it. We can study it from anywhere.
Okay.
If we are in the car or anywhere, we can study from internet.
That's fair. Prashika? And then Arshia.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, when we read any book, so when we can't speak any word and we don't know its pronunciation, so we use internet for its pronunciation. And in book sometimes we can't get current things. Like in book that it was written that India has position in population, but when I've searched in internet, it is the India's it has first position in 2023, and there are some mistakes in printing of book, but internet doesn't do it.
Okay. Arshia?
Ma'am, now if you're like talking about internet, most of the points are coming on the research part of it, but like I wanted to add on to the other parts that books can't do. For example, if you want to go or travel or somewhere, you need a map to travel. You can't like carry the whole world map in your pocket, so you'll need the internet to find a map to go somewhere. And also it helps you interact with people, as right now we're on internet having our class on Zoom. Normally we also use WhatsApp. And also when like we're using books, like suppose let's take an example of a dictionary only. You have to scroll through the whole dictionary to find a word that doesn't, like if you go to the dictionary normally you don't get such a long definition with examples. You just get a short one line definition. But in the internet you get to get a more variety of definition, which helps you understand more.
All right, that's a fair point. I think a lot of points are just repeating now. So I'm just going to tell you what are the points that you can run on proposition and what are the points that you can run on opposition. So
Ma'am,
on
I have a
proposition,
point.
keep yourself muted, please. On proposition, you're going to run that books create a bit of reading and learning. Second, books are credible sources of knowledge. Keep yourself muted. I think we're already reaching time. So books are credible sources of knowledge and information. Third, books do not require internet or online access. So I think a lot of you all were talking about remote access, you not having internet, all of that. Then fourth, online has a lot of distractions. For example, if you're trying to read from your laptop, there's like other social media, there's also like videos, you can also go and you like watch YouTube as opposed to studying from it. Then fifth is books can be made interesting via pictures and graphics as well. So it's not true that books are not interactive. And lastly, you can get so much in-depth of knowledge through specialized books that are available. Next is for opposition. So opposition, you're going to say books are boring and do not have graphics. Books may have many editions. So for example, a lot of times you have like 12, 13 volumes of a particular book. So it's very healthy and hefty, which means heavy and hefty, which means that you can't actually carry a lot of edition, but also it's very difficult for you to access those edition in the first place. So a lot of you all also talked about how books contain outdated information, and on internet you can continuously have updated information, much easier to access as well. Then books can be accessed online. So the same thing that you were saying in terms of books can literally be seen in on platforms like Kindle, etc. Then you can also have books, like carrying books is inconvenient. Online platforms are interactive and help students to learn faster. And then internet is widely accessible and easy to use. So a lot of points about like how you don't have internet network connectivities, etc. Now we're living in a world where we have good connectivity. We also have good accessibility to internet as well, which is why proposition and opposition's point stand. So this is with respect to today's mock session. So we have done about a lot about how different kinds of motions can be used in order to prepare. So you can always go and Google and find new topics to prepare before we share topics to you. So we did 2 topics and we were able to finish 2 topics. So we did argument. We also explained it well. So just remember that whenever you're using your arguments, you're supposed to explain them, give relevant reasonings, give relevant examples, and do well um, in your rounds. That's pretty much it for today.
Excuse me, ma'am.